grandkids and friends. It's Gran here. I want to try to light my 3 little candles down here. Let me see if I can swing it down. Oh, there we go. Whew. See if I can get them. Whoa! Sorry about that. Too light. Watch. It's probably not gonna work. Is it? Nope. Pretend they're lit. 1, 2, 3 candles. Oops. So, it's Epiphany. Also, the Christmas of the Orthodox people who follow the calendar of Julian for their Christmas celebration. So for them, it's Christmas tonight. It's so exciting. And they have a lot more quiet things that they do for their Christmas. And some louder things too. Tonight's story comes from a Latin American Christmas story. Do you remember this? Oops. Oh. We talked about it way back. Here's Mary and baby Jesus and Joseph and 1, 2, 3 wise men. Now we know from the story in the Bible from the 3 kings that we call part of Epiphany that came tonight that there were 3 gifts. And so we've always assumed that there were 3 Magi, or I'm going to call them Magi because that's what I grew up hearing. And it's maybe not how you would say it. It's maybe not how other people would say it. And I'm sure there's even a right way to say it. But that's what I'm going to say. And in our little nativity scene here, with just the kings, we have 2 camels. Can you see? 2 camels and 1 elephant. This nativity scene comes from Mexico. And they came bringing 3 gifts to baby Jesus. So tonight, our story for this, what I've referred to as Little Christmas, because not as many people around us celebrate Christmas tonight, is a book by Beatriz Vidal. Now, Beatriz has done the pictures and the story. Isn't that amazing? And the story's called Federico and the Magi's Gift. Look at all the stars in Federico's sky. Do you see the constellations? That's the shapes that we've named in the sky. And we've called them the names for a really long time. You might even know some of them. This one kind of looks like a crab. This one kind of looks like a horse. This one kind of, I think, is like a bear. Back here on the back even, there's a constellation of a lion. Some of you know that one. This one looks like a lady. See the ring of stars? This one looks like a bird. Isn't that amazing? Oh, here's a goat. And this one kind of looks like something that helps you find your way when you're in the ocean. I forget what it's called. Maybe one of your parents can tell you, or another grown-up. Oh, and here, is this a bear? It's a bear or a dog or... See, I don't even know all the names. You could look up later in an astronomy book about the different constellations, we call them, that are up in the sky. Federico is a little boy, and all he knows is he loves to look at the sky. Look at the inside of this book. Do you see all the shoes? What do we put out at Christmas sometimes, some of us? Some of us didn't grow up with it, but others of us did. I don't recall as a little kid having stocking, but my kids had a stocking when they grew up. But here the people have put their shoes outside. Look, more beautiful stars. Look at all the stars. Hi, Patricia. Good evening. So many beautiful things. Can you see them all? So many flowers and colorful skirts and floating wings and boats and toys and balls and flutes and kites and poinsettias. Did you know there's places in Latin America which is the bottom part of North America through, I'm just saying it wrong, somebody will correct it. But anyway, sort of from the bottom part of North America through Central America and through part of South America is considered Latin America. Look at all of these. Look at what all is hanging here in the sky. And the children are out, and this is the village in their countryside that they are in. Let's read what it's about. It was the 5th of January, and the scent of roses and jasmine hung in the balmy air. In the small mountain village, children and grown-ups were lofting globos into the pale sky. Shouts of delight and squeals of laughter rang out as the balloons floated up and the sounds of firecrackers greeted the end of the Christmas season. So these are similar to the lanterns. Yeah, the floating lanterns that they use in the Philippines. Looks like they're made out of paper and they float up into the air. Despite the festive feeling in the air, Federico sat motionless on the front step of his house, staring glumly at all the activity. With such a lovely evening, his mother said to him, why do you sit here alone in everybody's way? Federico was 4. Good evening, Luke. Good evening, Brandon. Good evening, Arlo. Good evening, Neva. And all the older grandkids, like starting, Elijah's a little bit older even already. But Federico, he's 4. Okay, and he always kept to himself when he had something on his mind. So poor connection. Oh, I'm so sorry. Something happened to our internet. Here's Federico sitting on the step. Do you see how their outside Christmas tree is decorated? And here's a raven and here's one of the floating globos. Pablo and Mariana danced about in the yard as they looked up in the sky. Something extraordinary was going to happen that night, the coming of the Magi. Grandmother often told the story of the Magi, Los Tres Reyes Magos, the 3 wise men who came from the Orient, bringing gifts to baby Jesus on the 12th night after his birth. Ever since, said Grandmother, the Magi ride through the sky, bringing regalos to good boys and girls. Every year the children peer up at the heavens with the hope of finding the wise men amongst the stars. So, regalos are gifts. So here they don't get gifts until the 12th night. You remember our 12 Days of Christmas song? This is part of that. So here they are, looking at the sky, watching the globos floating, watching for the stars. See, the moon is maybe just around the corner if the sun is setting. Birds and the beautiful poinsettia tree. And other people say that differently too. And there's a wisteria tree. I'll show you that in just a minute. Pablo and Mariana began to gather hay and water for the wise men's camels. They get very tired, grandmother had told them, and need to be refreshed after such a long journey. Federico, however, lingered on the porch. He had been scolded for misbehaving, and now he was afraid that instead of a toy horse that he wanted so much, the Magi would leave him nothing, and his shoes would be empty. Hi, Noreen. So here, this is a wisteria tree. Do you see the hanging purple flowers? Isn't that pretty? Look at that. And they're collecting the hay for the camels. And here they go. They're going to look for something. And those almost look like nectarines on the ground. And they're picking them up with their basket. Suddenly, a voice called out. It was Federico's father. Slowly, Federico got up and went to the garden. Federico asked his father, "Have you written to the Magi with your wish?" Federico nodded silently. He couldn't write yet, but he had drawn a picture of a little toy horse, just like Elijah, only Elijah wanted a real horse. And his sister had written his wish underneath it. Perhaps if you promise the wise men to behave better this year, you might get your cabalito, your little horse. Come, I'll help you. They went inside together. When the sky was a deep blue and the stars were beginning to shine brightly, it was time to go to bed. "Don't forget your shoes," said Mother, "or the Magi won't leave any regalos." Carefully, the children placed their zapatos on the windowsill and then hurried to bed. Zapatos are shoes in Spanish. Do you see? The moon is hanging in the beautiful blue sky. And on the ledge of the window are all the shoes from the house. And here's the kids putting their little pairs up there in their, they've got their pajamas on. And they're putting their shoes up so that they can get their gifts. They're leaving their requests with their shoes. Hours passed, and everyone in the house was asleep, except Federico. He lay awake in his bed, nervous and worried, his mind clouded with questions. Will the Magi get my letter in time? Will they understand that in my heart I truly mean to keep my promise? Will my shoes be vacios in the morning, empty? I think that's how it's said. So here he is, poor Federico, worrying, and his brother and sister are fast asleep under their beautiful blankets while the roses bloom outside. Even the kitty cat's watching. If only I could see the wise men. I must try, he said to himself. He crept out of bed very quietly so he wouldn't wake Pablo or Aunt Mariana. So he's going to go and see what he can see. He's thinking of all the gifts that could be coming. He tiptoed silently past his sleeping parents and carefully opened the door to the garden. The night air was warm and fragrant with the scent of roses and jasmine. So here's his mom and dad fast asleep. And here's their home with their terracotta tiles and their kitties here playing. And out the door goes Federico. I hope he'll be safe. Federico felt the soft grass under his feet. He saw the Christmas tree, the beautiful tree that Mother trimmed with silver and gold and velas, real candles. He listened to every sound. He listened to the humming of the crickets, to the rustle of the night birds in the trees. Suddenly, a dark shadow moved. He shivered. It was only Mickeyfus, the cat, leaping at Lucianagus, his paws swatting at the fireflies. Do you see they have an outside Christmas tree with candles on it and fruit trees around them? And here's Federico standing in the garden outside, and here's the kitty cat chasing fireflies. Do you see the light bugs? I hope you get to see those in your lifetime for real, because they're very interesting. We used to sometimes get them at Lake Isle when you guys were all really little. It was a long, long time ago. Hi, Sandy. So Federico walked to the garden's grassy hill, where the sky stretched huge above him, a deep blue dotted with millions of stars, scattered in magical forms for as far as he could see. Birds, animals, gods, heroes were so close that night he could almost touch them. He didn't move. He barely breathed. So through the middle is the Milky Way. Look at all the different shapes he sees. And there's Federico sitting on the hill, watching. And then, flickering through the stars, shining sparks of color glittered. "Oh," said Federico, and his heart leaped as he saw them. "It's the wise men," he gasped. He could hardly believe it as he counted. Uno, dos, tres. And there they were, Melchior, Caspar, and Balthasar, flying on their camels through the starry night. Angels flew alongside them, and as they grew closer, Federico saw toys, lots of toys, that the wise men carried on their camels. "I see my cabalito," he cried. Oh, here's a big picture. So colorful. Federico knew he had to hurry back to bed, for the Magi only visit houses where everyone is sound asleep. His heart pounded as he stole back into the house. He was so excited he wanted to wake Mariana and Pablo, but they were deep asleep and in dreams. So here he is running. Hurry, 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 hurry. Hurry back to the house. And the cat's following him too. Suddenly, Federico felt sleepy. He crept into bed, and as he closed his eyes, a breeze fluttered the curtain at the window. So here he is, fast asleep, as you see, with his brothers and sister. But what's going on outside the window? There are the kings with the regalos. So many colorful things they're bringing. In the small village, everybody was now asleep as the bright stars dimmed and the night moved towards the new day. And here's the beautiful little town now in the sky so bright. And the last thing is a little pair of shoes. So in the back of the book, that's the end of the story. In the back of the book are the words in English and Spanish, although they're backwards for you guys. And it says, author's note, in most of Latin America, the Christmas season comes at the hottest time of the year. December is the start of the summer vacation, allowing plenty of leisure for the festivities that begin with Christmas Eve and end with the day of Feast of the Three Kings or Epiphany Day on January 6th. Although it has become customary to exchange gifts on December 24th, Latin American children also enjoy receiving gifts on Epiphany Day. It is the mysterious three Magi, or the three wise men, who still hold the main fascination for the children, for they are the ones who deliver the gifts on Epiphany Day. The wise men are invariably described, and this is through legends now, as possibly being an Arab, a Spaniard, and an Ethiopian. And so that's where those names, what did I say? Casper, Balthazar, and Federico said them. There we go. Melchior, Casper, and Balthazar are their names. It says, according to the biblical legend, they came from the east and followed a star that led them to Bethlehem, where they met the new child who would become known as Messiah, Jesus Christ. Melchior of Arabia, Casper of Tharsis, and Balthazar of Saba, respectively. Now, here's an interesting thing. My grandpa, my mom's dad, had a brother, and his name was Melchior. And before him, we have, I think it's a great grandpa or a great uncle. Like there's in our family tree, the name Melchior is mentioned a bunch of times because that was a name that was passed down. That doesn't mean that they're one of the three kings, but it's interesting. Around the world, we all celebrate because there was good news. For them in the middle of their summer, for us in the middle of our winter, we celebrate. I hope you enjoyed the story of Federico and the Magi's gift. I hope you will look up some things about Latin America, maybe about Epiphany, maybe about Orthodox Christmas. Isn't this just a beautiful, beautiful, look at all the colors. The light isn't good, but just an amazing picture. Even the angels are different than what we get in our Christmas stories. They're dressed in traditional Latin American outfits, and they're playing guitars and drums from the area. It's a beautiful book with a beautiful story. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the story. We'll see you again tomorrow. God bless. Jesus keep you. Sweet dreams. Good night.